Well, I hope you're ready. I hope you have read through chapter 9, verse 11, through chapter 10, verse 18, once or twice before this section or this session. And you're prepared for this. This is, again, the high point of the letter. Let me just read through it. I call this section today that we're going to be looking at, two verses here, really, 11 and 12. Call this just the facts, because this is laying out is the bare facts of Jesus' sacrifice for us. He said, "But when Christ appeared as a high priest of the good things having come, he entered through the greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made by hands, that is, not of this creation, and not through the blood of goats and calves, but through his own blood. He entered the holy place once for all time, having obtained eternal redemption." What we're going to see in this section as we work our way through it, not only verses 11 and 12, but this whole section up to verse 10, 18, is that the writer is going to go back to things he's already discussed. He's already discussed the priesthood of Jesus. He's already discussed the tabernacle. He's already discussed the sacrifice, but he's going to bring that all together again here. So it's going to be somewhat repetitious, and that kind of confuses people sometimes. Don't let it confuse you, that he is just bringing those threads together and applying them to Jesus. So here in verses 11 and 12, he's focused on the bare facts of Jesus's sacrifice. So let's take a look at that. Notice in verse 11 when he says, "When Christ appeared." That "when" is a kind of a time word, right? It's talking about a particular period of time, a specific time. And it reminds us, I think, that God's word and his revelation to us is happening within the framework of history. How would you say it? It's bound by history. His revelation comes to us over a period of time. It's what we call progressive revelation. So from our perspective, this is happening through time. So when Jesus came, he came at a specific time. He came at a specific time that God had ordained. He came 1,500 years after the Mosaic service was instituted. That's a lot of patience on God's part, as we'll see. So from our perspective, when Jesus appeared, this is the unfolding drama that we see that throughout the Bible. Begins with creation, and then goes to the fall, and now it comes to redemption. And from here it's going to go on to renewal or recreation. We're going to see this as it develops. So when Christ appeared, and notice he appeared as a high priest of the good things having come. So this is again a reference to that time-bound revelation. Finally, what was promised has come. The good things have come. What are those good things? Well, these are the things that were anticipated in the Mosaic ministry, in the Mosaic service, in the Mosaic law, the things that were looked forward to, specifically what we call salvation, true salvation, not a promise of salvation that would be satisfied at the cross, but true salvation that is instituted at the cross. When we talk about salvation, it's really a package, a word that's a package, and we unfold that word and we find inside of it numerous things that happen when we're saved. First of all, we are justified. We are declared righteous before God. Then we begin this process of sanctification. We are sanctified. We are made to be holy, that God starts working in our soul to bring holiness into our lives. In the future, we'll be glorified. We'll be made perfect. We'll be like Christ is. We don't yet know what he is like, but when we see him, we'll recognize him and we'll be like him. That's what 1 John tells us. We have this glorification that waits for us in the future. transform souls and transform bodies. And then finally, an eternal inheritance. We get the first tastes of that during the millennial kingdom, 1,000-year taste of our eternal inheritance. And then that opens up into what's called the eternal state. So Jesus is the high priest. He brings all these things for us. Justification, sanctification, glorification, and an eternal inheritance that is all wrapped up for us in him. And it says that he entered through the greater, more perfect tabernacle, not made by hands, that is not of this creation. So Jesus is this high priest that has appeared at just the right time, bringing all the good things that were promised. And he is in the heavenly tabernacle. He's not in the tabernacle that's in Jerusalem, as from the perspective of the original readers. He's not there. Where he's at, he's in this heavenly tabernacle, and he's this heavenly high priest that's serving there. Goes on. His service is not, as it says, through the blood of bulls and goats. Goats and calves, but through his own blood. So this is the better sacrifice that we've talked about before. This better sacrifice that institutes a better covenant. Once and for all. Did you pick that up? Once and for all. He's talked about this before, and again, he's bringing these threads back together, that Jesus is seated at the right hand of God. He's done. His work is completed. It's a once and for all sort of ministry that's happened there. So he is at work once and for all. This sacrifice is once and for all, having obtained, as he says, eternal redemption. So he's looking at the completion, the summary of all that Jesus has done, and he's brought that together with that word redemption. This is referring to the release of our conscience from guilt before a holy and righteous God. This is what Jesus has done. And notice that is eternal, an eternal redemption that he's brought. That guilt has been taken care of. That's the justification aspect of our salvation. And it opens us up to be before God without shame, that we can enter, as he says, into the Holy of Holy boldly by the blood of Christ. He's unburdened, unencumbered, we could say, by the guilt and shame of our sin before a holy and righteous God. Important couple verses there as we dig into this, and I just appreciate the opportunity that the Lord gives us to really dig into these things, not just read over and gather what we can from the surface, but to look for the treasure, right? To dig for gold here in God's Word. So how do we apply it? Well, Jesus' priesthood, Jesus' sacrifice makes him the agent of our eternal redemption. The readers of Hebrews are grasping this with greater and greater understanding and clarity. And as they do that, they grow in maturity of their understanding how God has progressively worked to bring about the salvation that he has always promised. And they are strengthened to live in light of what Jesus has done, strengthened to live in light of their greater understanding of what's going on in God's eternal plan. So let's you and I, brothers and sisters, strive to understand this costly work that Jesus has accomplished. Let's strive to grow in our maturity and our understanding. And as we do that, we should live in light of that greater understanding. Live in light of what he's revealed to us. I pray, brothers and sisters, that as you read these things and as you grow in understanding, that you grow in commitment to follow him, grow in commitment to stand firm in him, grow in commitment to minister to brothers and sisters. All kinds of prayers and all kinds of things that God is doing for us by his Spirit through his word.